The High Priestess is a beautiful card. It's the first card of feminine energy. Now, the Fool went from Kether to chokmah, wisdom. The Magus, the Juggler, went from Kether to binah, in wisdom, understanding. The High Priestess, by contrast, descends vertically from Kether, and it goes straight past the horizontal of chokmah and binah, straight down to Tipareth, which is the sun. It's the centre of the card. So she bypasses everything. And the letter for the High Priestess is Gimel. And Gimel means a camel. And here we are. There's a little camel, just to emphasize the point. It's hard talking about the Fool card and what it represents. It's hard talking about the Magus card and what it represents. So guess what? It's not easy talking about this card either, because she represents a lot of things. So we'll do the mnemonic first, for no other reason than it's the easiest one I've got here. It doesn't really matter which way you go on these things sometimes. You just have to kind of, it currently says in the book of Thoth, you have to go around these things, up, down, inside, around, about, take it in, take it out, put it back in again, throw it all away and start all over again. And then you do the same thing the next day. It's the only way to learn this stuff. So for Gimel, which means a camel, and the letter Gimel also represents the moon, not the tarot card, the moon, which is Pisces. This is the moon. So the moon goes from Kether down to Tipareth, which is the point of where the sun is. Kind of makes sense. So for the High Priestess, she says, Mother, Moon Maiden, Playmate, Bride of Pan, God's angel minister to every man. Pan? Yeah, Pan. Pan means all. And Pan, if you remember, appears in the description of the Fool card. Always, all. Pan means all, and it's the god Pan, and he actually mentions Pan in the description of the Fool card. It's to do with the devil. And I hinted that the Fool card might have a thing for the High Priestess. It seems she does. They get up to some naughties. Well, sex again. Fool's done again. So, here's the verse for the High Priestess. Remember, I've just been talking about sex. Purity is to live only to the highest, and the highest is all. Be thou as Artemis to Pan. Read thou in the book of the law, and break through the veil of the virgin. Artemis, of course, is a goddess, feminine goddess as well. Pan, we've mentioned, highest is all. So he's kind of elevating, he's equating sexuality and spiritually at a very high level here. There is no real distinction. Sex is not naughty or disgusting, unless you're a Christian. It's okay. Read thou in the book of the law, which of course is Libra, and you see her well, you know, it doesn't actually show the book of the law here, but it is in a lot of the traditional descriptions of the High Priestess, she is carrying reading a book. Some may call it the book of Tarot, T-A-R-O. I said about Kether the crown, and you can see at the top of this card that she actually has a crown. Okay. She's seated. And she also has the bow of Diana. Okay, she's the hunter. So this is going on here. And these geometric patterns are very much to do with projected synthetic geometry from Rudolf Steiner, which Frieda Harris learned. So there's a projection of geometry that's going on here. In the Magus card we had mathematics. Now we're into geometry. And you actually have the forms, different forms here of things, simple forms that are developing at her feet. Diana is seated. She's not standing, she's seated. She's on a throne. Now, binah is the place for thrones. That's where the Empress is, and the Empress goes across. So something strange is going on here as well too. So let's go back to the High Priestess, shall we? What he says. And oh my God, he mentions the sun as the yoni does to the lingam. We're back into sex again. And it's actually this duality of male and female polarities going on as well. The Fool was nothing but had it all, had sex. The Magus is bisexual because it's Mercury and it's ambidextrous and all that kind of stuff. The High Priestess is virginal, but you know, there's a thing about sort of devouring virgins, isn't there? So she's still above the High Priest. The High Priestess is still above the abyss, okay, as we know. She's making a direct connection between the Father in his highest aspect and the Son in his most perfect manifestation. Father and Son, things are still going on here. And she is therefore the most purest, the most exalted conception of the moon. And she's also the Virgin, the Artemis of the Greeks. She's veiled as well. You can't see her face in this picture. They can, of course, see. You can kind of see. It's almost like she's got really large bifocals, but she's kind of veiled. Not as much as the Queen of Cups, but there is a kind of veiling going on. You can still see it's kind of diaphanous more than anything else. It's the veil of light. And then she becomes the goddess Nuit, the possibility of form. So this is light manifesting as form or structure as it goes through. You didn't have that kind of so much with the Fool and the Magus cards, even though they're kind of more defined in many ways. The High Priestess has an element of mystery about her. So then he talks about dust devils, and dust devils, you know, those whirling kind of things you get in the desert, so like little spirals and things. And this comes from the Book of Lights, which we mentioned as to do with Mercury, the Magus. Okay, in that mnemonic he talks about the lies. The thought is a lie because it's manifest. And it's also about travelling through the desert. And of course, camels are the supreme travellers through the desert. Camels can go through the wasteland where there's nothing there. So you have, it also goes into Liber 418, the vision and the voice as well. That's particularly the 10th ether, which is interesting. 10th ether is Zax, the ether of chaos and the ether of chaos and destruction, where Crowley famously saw the demon Corons on in the desert. So it's a kind of scary kind of thing going on, but he also brings into this whole thing the element of the conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel, because the point of Tipareth, remember we're still in the Kether, going down to Tipareth. We're going downwards. To get to Tipareth is the conversation with your Holy Guardian Angel. So in this sense, the High Priestess is a Holy Guardian Angel, feminine. So it is in short a symbol of the highest initiation. Now, it is a condition of initiation that its keys are to be communicated by those who possess them to all true aspirants. The card is thus very peculiarly a glyph of the work of the AA, not the Automobile Association. It's the Argentium Astrum. It's an occult organisation that Crowley created around 1912 or something like that, as distinct from Thelema and the OTO. Crowley created his own organisation, and where would your loyalties really lie? Something you joined or something you created? It's got to be what you created, isn't it? So his true leanings are with the Argentium Astrum or AA or something like that, because everyone says it's not supposed to say it, or it's not the way it's said, or something like that to make it more mistress. And then he returns to the Book of Lies again. Now, first of all, we had the dust devils, okay? And then we go on to the Oyster. Now, it's almost as though you're predestining things, or something comes through that hasn't yet come through, but you'll talk about it anyway because it's in the next thing. You get this toing and froing going between the cards. Okay, so for the Oyster, is the brothers of the AA are one with the mother of the child. So we're back to this whole idea of the mother, the woman, and the child, and this kind of the members of the AA are to do with the child. So he says it's important to reflect that this card is wholly feminine, wholly virginal, for it represents the influence and the means of manifestation, or from below of attainment. So manifesting down, you've got to attain to get up to the High Priestess. It represents possibility in its second stage without any beginning of consummation. So it wasn't consumed. Okay, so there's a very, he also talks about from this idea of the triune goddess as well, that goes on to this, is the mother, the daughter, and the virgin as well. So there's a lot of things going on in these cards. They're not a simple, you can't kind of put them in a little box. That's what it means. And that's where everybody goes wrong about trying to understand the meanings of the cards. So the next card in the sequence is going to be the Empress, who is the mother. So we're getting there.